everyone. Today we're going to talk about Qlik's expressions. So we have discussed a lot about charts and its properties. You can see that in this particular playlist. So now we're going to talk about the expressions. In Qlik, the expressions are very simple. So far we were doing it automatically that was being created. So today we're going to see the basic one. We're not going into the advanced analysis. We'll get that in the next video. So let's get started. Though we can apply those expressions in any chart, but I prefer to start with the table because that is the best one we can compare with the other expressions. So one thing in Qlik is that there is no issue that when how to group by how you do that aggregation thing. It automatically does whatever dimension do you add in your chart. It automatically do the aggregation for that, so you don't have to worry about the how it's being aggregated. So let's get add a dimension over here, and let's start with my favorite basic category, and then I'm going to add a measure. And here I'm going to go to the formula visit. So in the formula visit, so what I can do is there are a couple of ways to do it. I find there are some basic aggregation function. The basic aggregation function are sum, count, min, max, and average. So you can apply all those aggregation functions, and there are other median, mod, and all those aggregation functions. So regardless of any aggregation function. So we start with the sum. So if you see when you start typing, you see this help that it says set expression, distinct, all, total, and then field, blah blah blah. So what does this mean? We will come to that in a moment. We will go step by step about that. Okay, so the first thing is we can just in like Excel or in SQL, if you have to sum it anything, you just write sum and we write the column name. That's it. Here it goes. We have the column name. The next thing we're gonna do is we can have the formatting around number formatting, or if it's a date, we can convert into date. We have those options from the properties, but we can have this from here. So this format means that I need to have 10, or I want to have 2 decimal point, 3 decimal point, this means 4 decimal point. So this is how we can use this particular expression for the formatting. Okay, so let's remove this formatting to keep it simple. And the next thing I'm going to do is we have certain qualifiers. What are the qualifiers? The qualifiers are basically the things, or these are certain functions which essentially modify the behavior of the aggregation, how the aggregation is going to happen. Okay, so what does this mean is that, for example, if I add the qualifier of total here and I apply it, what does that mean is that it ignores this dimension. Okay, let's do that again. If I don't have this total, it's good. Let's duplicate it and now add our total qualifier over. You see, now I have this one, and this is ignoring the total, and the here it's same. What I can do is, now how it can be used. So it can be used, for example, if I want to calculate the percentage of sales amount, and if I divide now, total is ignoring the dimension, so I can totally get this percentage, and let's choose a percentage from here to show it better. Here we go. So this is one of the qualifiers. Okay. So So now let's see if I then look at the other function that we have, that is the count function in the aggregation. So let's count the orders, or let's say sales quantity. Let's count the quantity. So here we have in each order, in each category we have odd quantity of order, a count of the quantity. But normally, let's say just rather than this, let's have the customer count. That's I think more, that will make more sense here. So we see that we have the customers over here. Okay, so we're gonna have the customer ID actually. So if we see the customer ID, so there's a lot, but actually you see when we had the customer, it was less. The reason is that in our data set, the customer ID is repeating again and again against order, so it's counting just a simple count. So if we want to have only the the unique count, so we have the qualifier here called distinct. So here we are, and now we have the distinct count against each category. So this is our second function. This is called distinct function. Okay, the next qualifier that we're going to discuss is, which is used to define the scope of the aggregation, is all. So before I do that, because the function of the total and all is similar, so I'm just gonna add total here. So just go to the auto so that we can see. Okay, and I'm going to copy this, duplicate this expression, bring it little above, and just put in all. You see the result of total and all seems same, but now the difference is that this total function just ignores the dimensionality, whereas this all ignores the dimension as well as the selection. So let's see how that works. Let's just add a filter over here. Let's just add the city filter. You can just add the filter by pressing the shift and dropping it over here. And let's come to the analysis mode. Now if I select the cities, you see this number has changed, but this number is just my total number. So essentially this all qualifier, it's combination of ignoring the total, it's a total, ignore the dimension, but it also ignored this particular selection that we have done over here. Okay, so the next thing that we can do in our expressions is we can use the other, there are other functions such as only, min, max, so that you can do that. We can have other arithmetic functions applied here as well, and with formula can be done. For example, here I want to sum quantity into, let's say, unit cost, and that is actually my cost. So I can multiply that and I can divide it with anything and I can do that. Or that is up to you how you want to do it. It can be like just I did the percentage thing, that first sum the things up and then divide, or whatever you like. For example, I'm just looking if you want to have the average cost in each category, so I can just do that. That's totally up to me how I actually want to see the data. So yeah, just let's make it bigger. You see we have this option. Now if I want to just see the total cost, I can see the total cost over here. So there are a lot of other ways we can do it. Now comes the other function. We have been doing this thing manually. There in a Qlik there is an option to do that automatically. So let's just do that automatically. Okay, so how we can do that automatically? The first thing is on which field we want to apply the aggregation. For example, in this case we have been doing this for sales amount. So just select that. We want to do the aggregation. Yes, we want to do some. And you see there are other aggregations available. And if you want to see any help, you can just click over here, and if you write any function that will, for example, if I've written sum and I click over on this help button and I click over here, so it will take me to Qlik's help. So that you can always see the exact syntax, what's exactly going on, what you can use. Coming back here, let's just ignore this. And we have the amount, we have the aggregation, and now you see we have the option for distinct value and total value that we were talking about. The all option is not here, but that will be soon. That's the recently introduced function. And let's say just we want to add the total distinct, and we insert. You see it's automatically done. You don't need to worry about any of it. So that is another way to build the functions within Qlik. Okay. Now we're going to see how we can use the if then else condition, or where we have to do the conditional countings or all those things. So let's just remove this filter, and let's just come to the sales amount. So if I want that, okay, I want to summarize the sale, only those sales which are greater than, if the quantity is greater than 100. So essentially I'm going for the wholesale or the bulk orders, then count the sales amount. Else it should be a 0, or even if you say nothing, it will automatically assume that it's a null value. And I have to close the parenthesis for if as well. So you see, if I haven't closed it, it's giving me error, it's giving me some suggestion as well. So I can just use this option, and you see now my sales has changed. This is my conditional sales, so I can call it conditional sales. Here we go. Okay, so you see we can apply those conditions over here, and here I am at done. So this is nice and easy. Now let's get a little ahead. Let me make another chart. Again we use, before I go there, just one thing. I can also apply the if then else or all the other functions. There can be a whole bunch of functions. For example, you want to have the max function, minimum function, or for example you want to see that, okay, if let's say channel we have channel, don't we? Okay, let me see what we have. Okay, we have customer, markets. Okay, we have markets. So if markets is equal to Asia, then let's say then city, else country. Yeah. So we can have things like that. You see? So this is another way to make our dimensions. So we can use the if then else functions, and any other logical functions. There is a whole bunch of list that is available on Qlik's help site. So let me show you that if I can have that right away. Yeah, here we have. If we go to Qlik Sense help site, so here we have this a lot of scripts and chart functions. So you can go here and go to script and chart functions, and you can go here visualization expressions. So you will have a lot of options here in the visualization expressions. So exact what are the operators, what you can do. So there are a lot of bunch of functions available over here. So you can see that. I will be covering, in my next videos, some of them, some base. Then those functions will be some targeted functions. By each category, I will be covering that in somehow basic functions of those categories and some key functions in detail. Okay, so for the basic one, this is fine. Okay, the next thing is the condition. So Qlik has very specific or its own proprietary, what we call as a set analysis that you can do for the expressions, and that is very very handy. It's just like a general expression condition that we do in JSON or other areas, and it's very, because of the Qlik's in-memory technology, it's very fast, and we can replace that for the instead of the case functions or if functions, we can replace it. So how we can use that? For example, here I want to make a table by cities. Okay, so let's just drop a table, and I will just drop city dimension over here, and then I'm again my favorite sales amount. Okay, let's try the other heading over here. Let's add it over here and say if category name is equal to, we need to remember it as well. I think it was, as it's a text, I have to do like that, baby clothes, then sales amount. I think we don't have this one. Okay, that's interesting. Let's just see what exact values we have. We need to be exact, so let's just drop it over here and see what are the exact values. So it's baby clothes. Yes, it is. So why we don't have any value over here? Let's copy this exact value. Maybe I'm missing something. Okay, so I think we have done a mistake. So we need to add that in number here. Okay, so we're gonna say if sales amount, sorry, if big cloth category, category name is equal to baby clothes, then sales amount, which is good. And then we need to add some, okay, here we are. So you see, we have this only for the baby clothes. Now, if we do the selection of the baby clothes, and the sales, the sum of sales, you see, it's the same. In Qlik, we have a better way to do it. The same thing that we have done over here, we can achieve through set analysis. Let's see how we can do that. And today I'm going to show a very basic method that can be used by very novice users. So we're gonna say set analysis, set expression, sum, and it was sales amount and insert. You see, Qlik has automatically put up this particular thing. If you say, it essentially says category name is equal to baby clothes. So how this came from, it was because I have applied a filter. And this is just this expression to show that this is the condition starting, which is called set analysis. The name of the set analysis from this curly braces, and this is for the conditions. If I apply that, and you see I got the same result. The pretext of the precondition for applying using the set analysis is that how we can exploit this has Qlik this option that Qlik has given. First we need to select, we can have multiple values that we want to use in our set analysis. First we select that, then we go to the measure and we can use this one, this amount, sales amount, this, and insert. There is another option to do the same. Maybe we already have added this function, so you don't want to write that function again. So you just want to add the condition. So if you want to just add the condition, you can come here, use this one, use current selection, and make sure your cursor is here, and then click insert button. It will automatically be inserting the set analysis for you. So you don't need to remember the exact format that it has to be. You see here is a little problem that we have this men's also have this, so we can remove this option problem by adding double quotes. Okay, so if you have in your value you have this single quote, so you can use the double quote to make sure that your value sticks. So you see now we have those values, and even now if you make this filter disappear, you will still have only those options, those values. So this is very easy way through which you can make those expressions. A lot of times you will have the, as a business user, you will see, okay, I want this city to be included in my expression, and this value and this value, these filters. Okay, now my value is fine over here. Now please make expression on that, and what you can do is you can just go over there and insert a certain value, certain conditions over there. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I will be coming up with the new set analysis video in a detail.